All right, Jesse on fire. Welcome back. So talk about a video that I don't want to do, a video I have no interest in doing, but we got a scoop as it relates to UFC 294. Not a good one. I would imagine that you guys read the title and the thumbnail, which is why you clicked on this video. But it looks like Kamaru Usman may have injured his knee in the in open workouts. I'm going to show it to you in a second. And man, we'll see. I mean, we'll see, dude. He didn't take it off on a stretcher, but his knee popped. They stopped the open workout right when it happened. He played it off cool with Gaethje, but you can hear him say it popped. So we're going to show that to you, and that's what we're going to do. Also, I had a bunch of other topics I was going to talk about today with UFC 294, so I'm just going to do it on this video also because I also have to talk about Logan Paul's impulsive episode that he did yesterday where we found out exactly what's happening with the lawsuit. Because that thing's going forward, and he is now officially he is just putting that on Nina, which I have opinions on that too. You know what I mean? Like now I have a whole other opinion on that. Of okay, it's Nina's. You're just gonna let her wear that by yourself, huh? Or she's wearing that by herself. So we're gonna talk about that, and then also some stuff related to Volkanovski, Charles Oliveira, some accusations that he pulled out of this fight on purpose, and a bunch of other stuff. We'll get into it afterwards, but there's a bunch of other UFC 294 stuff. You know, Khamzat's coaches, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so let's jump into it. If you have not subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and do that. I appreciate you guys sticking with the channel. And this is not the UFC video I wanted to come back to the UFC stuff with at all. But this is what it is. So let's take a look at this and you guys can see what I see. So it looks like Kamaru Usman's open workout may have been cut short after he appears to tell Justin Gaethje that something popped in his knee. We all know his struggles with knees for years, so watch. I mean, these guys play this off cool, but watch. Right here. Hear that? He said it popped. Now watch. Here, we'll play it again. Watch. Right after this takedown, he said it popped, and then they play it off, and they end it right here. Watch. He said, that's it. It popped. That's what he said. One more time. Hear that? That's it. It popped. Damn, I didn't even hear that the first time. I was trying to hear it on my phone. I couldn't hear it well enough. But that's it. It popped. Man, that is not good, dude. So, listen, that's what it is. Obviously, listen, dude, I hope it goes without saying that I am pulling for Kamaru Usman to come through. If you guys didn't see, I did a video about that fight on my other channel yesterday where I was picking Kamaru Usman to win. I may as well talk about that again here because no one saw the video. I put it on my second channel. I don't think anybody saw it. But, like, I mean, listen, dude, I think... You know, if Kamaru, I mean, there's no additional information about this at this point. So we're going to see what happens as this information comes out. But yeah, I mean, like, you know, if they were both equally healthy, you got 96% takedown defense against 100% takedown defense. If these two guys are stuck on their feet, who do you think is going to win? You know, who do you think is going to win? I got Kamaru personally, if they're stuck on the feet. By the way, why I look so red is because I was in a sauna downstairs baking my balls off for 45 straight minutes when I got the text and did this. I literally came straight up here. So I am beat red, it looks like. But nonetheless, that's what's going on. So, and yes, I have a sauna in my house. I don't realize it's probably not normal, but it is what it is. I like to sweat, dog. Anywho, so Kamaru Usman, I had him, you know, if they get stuck on the feet, he has better straight punches. He has a more composed, you know, and look, like Khamzat is a lot of energy, a lot of coming forward, a lot of bashing fools, you know, like looping punches a lot. But we've only seen him in a stand-up fight once, and that was against Burns. And listen, if he fought like that, we all said that after that fight. What happens if Khamzat fights Kamaru like that? That was like the entire narrative after that fight. What happens in the event that he fights against Kamaru with that style? Everyone was like, he gets his head knocked off. So too bad. I mean, listen, dude, if he goes into this fight at anything under than like 90%, if his knee is compromised, that's not good. Not against Khamzat, dude. And this comes at the worst time ever for everybody. I mean, obviously everybody was already all super fired up for this fight, but I literally just got done watching Chael interview Khamzat and Kamaru. And I texted Chael afterwards, and I'm going to say the same thing to you guys. I don't think anyone has ever done a better job managing their public brand than Khamzat Chimaev while saying so few words. He doesn't say anything. And at the same time, I watch him and I get goosebumps. I'm like, man, this guy is a monster, dude. This guy is the boogeyman. Like, he's the new, as Tony Ferguson is on his way out, I know we call him the Wolf Brother. He is the boogeyman. He's so scary. He doesn't say every word he says is intimidating. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, let me show you just a second of this interview just so we can talk, and then we'll talk more about the fight and a bunch of other stuff. But look at this.
Sean Strickland, who's a former training partner of yours, and as I understand, a current friend. Is that going to be a problem?
What? Oh, no problem. Somebody wants to make money. No problems there, man. So,
Kamaru, I'd like to ask you the same.
Like, what? He's like, is that a problem that he's your friend? Like, look at his answer is like, what, are you joking?
Is that going to be a problem?
What? Oh, no.
He's like that's like the most absurd question anyone's ever asked him ever, dude. He's like, well, what? What? Is that going to be a problem? He's like, yeah, are you going to have a problem smashing your friend's face in and taking something that he loves more than anything for him? He's like, what? He's like, that's a question you ask a human being. You don't ask a wolf that question. So, I mean, listen, at this point, we don't know anything. All we know is that they ended the workout immediately, which is obviously not good. And he said to Justin, it popped. Now, all of you guys who are combat athletes or trained martial arts, whatever, okay? When your knee pops, what does that usually mean? I mean, actually, I was about to imply that meant it's an injury. What I was going to say is just think through when knees pop, what does it usually mean? Like, in your own experience. I could tell you in my own experience, I got trapped in a bad position, and one of my training partners who's 1,000 times better than jiu-jitsu than me, a world champion, and he kind of just showed me, he was just showing me that I was in a bad position for a heel hook, right? Like, he literally just he twisted it just enough so that I would feel like, because heel hook is like, boom, you're in a heel hook, and then boom, your leg is destroyed. And if you have no experience with it, it's like, you won't know to tap, and then boom, they'll shred all your ligaments. He literally was just twisting it just enough to show me that I was in trouble, and my knee went pop. Like, it sounded like the loudest chiropractic pop I've ever heard in my life. It was it was that, actually, the loudest chiropractic pop ever. And I was fine, finished practice, went home. Not that any of this matters for chiro. I mean, it just maybe could be Kamaru's thing. Who knows? And what had happened was, it didn't tear any ligaments or anything like that. But what had happened was the cup that sits on top of the connection between the bones had ruptured. And so, I mean, dude, I literally could not walk I couldn't walk for about 2 to 3 days. Like, I was struggling up the stairs. I was out for about a week and I was fine. I honestly, I don't know, like, hypothetically, if that's what it was, which would be probably a really on the good side scenario. Modern medicine for professional athletes, I have absolutely no idea what, I have no idea what that would mean in terms of his ability to compete. I know I could barely walk, but if someone shot me full of cortisone, who knows? You know what I mean? It's not like it's not like anything that's needed to move was damaged. So anyway, that's totally irrelevant. Maybe irrelevant, maybe not. Who knows? Hopefully it's not. It popped and then it ends up being a ligament, because I've seen that plenty of times too. Never to myself, knock on wood, on my knee. But man, I hope that fight still goes. So I wanted to talk about a couple other things on this video also. So first off, Volkanovski made a very interesting comment related to this fight with Islam that I wanted to say something about. And that is, he said, if this was in reverse, this fight doesn't happen. And I thought about that. I'm like, that's 100% true. 100% true. And I say that in pointing out what a gangster Volkanovski is. You know what I mean? Like, that is so gangster. He took this fight. He has this rematch in the bag anyway. You know what I mean? Like, he's getting this rematch is happening for him. This is going to happen. He did not need to take it short notice at all. It wasn't a situation where he had to step in like Strickland did for Izzy and then take advantage of the opportunity that he got as a result of someone else being injured. Like, Sean Strickland gets mad props for that, for grabbing a hold of the reins when his opportunity came, right? Volkanovski did not need to do that at all, right? They might have given him a little bit of extra money, probably a lot of extra money, but nonetheless, like, this fight was coming for him. This fight was coming for him, and he took it short notice anyway. Now, would Islam have done that? Hell no. Hell no. Didn't Islam turn down a replacement fight at some point? I feel like he did. And Khamzat actually spoke about that specifically because they asked him about, he's originally fighting Costa and now he's fighting Kamaru. And he's like, so what do you think about that? And he's like, I don't train for opponents. He said exactly like how he said, would it be weird for you to fight, one of your friends? It was like, he made it look like that was like the most ludicrous question ever. He's like, I just train to kill everybody. I'm ready for everybody. I kill everybody. He's so fucking awesome, dude. That was his answer. But like with Volkanovski, he's just like, my skills are my skills and I'm ready to go, and Islam would not have done the same. I'm not saying that makes him any less of a fighter or anything like that. It just seems like it's a point that Volkanovski made that I think is fair. I also heard that both of them weigh 181. I think Volkanovski weighed 181 pounds going into this week, and Islam weighed 183. Dude, that's insanity. That's insanity. So right now I probably weigh 194. And that's absolutely not even in a million years at all trying to control my weight right now. Like, I'm not trying to control my weight at all. And when I am, I'm probably around 191. All right. Like, if I'm doing a jiu-jitsu, it's not really comparable, but I'm just talking about how big I am. And thinking about making 155 is absolutely unfathomable. Unfathomable to me. I can't even imagine what a weight cut like that would be like. Like, I stress out when I'm like, if I'm competing in jits, like in a week and I need to drop 7, 7. I remember I asked Anthony Smith's coach, Danny Molina, I asked him, like, I had a tournament at the end of last year and I was fighting at 195 and I weighed 202. And so I had to cut 7 pounds in 6 days. And I was just like, dude, it's different though. You can't just like cut all the weight and then put it back on. I was like, dude, what do I do? And he's like, dude, this is not like a big weight cut, bro. He's like, I thought you were going to say like something a lot bigger than that, dude. I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm just saying like cutting weight fucking sucks. If you haven't ever cut weight, it sucks balls, no matter what it is. Cutting from a $180 to 155 is absolutely fucking unfathomable. I cannot believe these guys do that. It's absolutely insane, dude. Insane. Anyway, but so, they're going to cut all that weight. Both these guys are gangsters, but Volkanovski's a bigger gangster because he took the fight. Islam wouldn't have. Now, speaking of guys on that squad, dominance and that team, so Belal Muhammad straight up said that Charles Oliveira got out of this fight because he didn't want in this fight. Straight up. He said that if you watch the video that he made, he said that Charles Oliveira did not want to fight in enemy territory. This comes back to exactly what I was just talking about with Islam and versus Volkanovski, where Volkanovski's like, yeah, I'll fight him. I'll fight him on, 3 weeks notice in Abu Dhabi, enemy territory. That said, Volkanovski did fight him last time on his turf. So that's different. But he's like, Charles didn't want to fight him in enemy territory. So, he found a way to get out of there. He could have stitched it up. He could have done XYZ. He wanted out of this fight. He got out. Now, I thought about that, and I thought a couple things. Number one, that's a pretty aggressive accusation. You know what I mean? Pretty aggressive accusation. That said, I don't necessarily disagree with him. But what I always said about this thing, though, was I was like, why should Charles have to fight Islam on Islam's turf again? You know what I mean? Like, what? That doesn't seem fair to me at all. Like, they already did that. And Islam whipped his fucking ass. Charles hasn't earned the ability to fight over there. Now, I realize, like, UFC's a business. Like, I get it, dude. Believe me. I completely understand. And they have a certain number of guys who are big stars over there that they're going to do it. Believe me, I understand. I get it. But, I don't know. In terms of fairness, it seems like that's kind of not really fair. As much as I've said fairness doesn't pay, like, fairness doesn't really factor into anything in UFC, but, But I don't know. I don't know if he got out of there on purpose. That cut was legit. That cut was legit. Belal even acted like maybe he did the cut on purpose. I was like, that's seems far-fetched. But nonetheless. All right, so I was totally unprepared to do this video, but bottom line, I just saw that video about Kamaru's knee popping. I wanted to get it up first, so I ran upstairs straight out of the sauna. So if I sound kind of muddled and stupid, that's why. I'm going to go shower, drink my nootropic drink that I drink every day. Link is in the description if you haven't tried it. It's the fucking bomb. You can compare this right here to me when I'm doing the Logan and Nina video next, where I'm talking about Nina pushing forward with the lawsuit and Logan deciding to make it all her on her own. He is now publicly, he's like, oh no, Nina is going to make him pay for that. So, now, don't get me wrong. I am not going to just hammer Logan in this video because there was a lot of things that I saw in that impulsive thing that I, aligned with. Like his family is really tight. His family's really tight. There are certain things that I am magnetically drawn to. People having their families back is one of the biggest ones. So when he's there sitting there talking to his dad and they're all talking about how they, dealt with all of this together as a family, it's hard for me to keep a mean face on. You know what I mean? Even though I completely disagree with the bankruptcy thing. So it's not all negative. That said, I do think that it is super fucking bitch made to just be like, now especially, now that and there's no question that he knows, the backlash that all these guys were getting over the lawsuit. He's just like, oh yeah, Nina's doing that. Now she's going to make him pay. I'm like, you really? You guys are really going to move forward with this. And not only are you moving forward with it, but you're going to put that on her? That's just on her now. All right. I mean, I would have handled that differently. Obviously, I would have just not done it. But now that I beat the guy up and all that, he's never going to get booked again, I would just be like, okay, babe, I get it. You want revenge, but fucking drop the lawsuit. What did he do? He posted pictures of you. Get the fuck out of here. Anywho, but yeah, so check the link in the description, that Benieve link. It's the best nootropics ever. Try the watermelon drink. It is the shit, dude. It's the best legal nootropic upper you will ever get in your life. Anyway, that's what I got. I love you guys. Hopefully Kamaru's all right. Subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell. Bye-bye.